Welcome to Modern Homestead, Alaska. I'm part of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. Today we're gonna finish up this zucchini relish. First of all, thank you, those of you who have been with the channel for a while and you show up time and time again to actually watch what we're doing here on this homestead. If you're new around here and finding us through this challenge, I am taking the month to introduce our channel to each and every one of you. We are a family on a working modern homestead in South Central Alaska, where we share everything from building this homestead from the ground up, as well as our adventures, our hunting and fishing, and then all of the different projects, including the garden and the animal husbandry, such as our dairy cow, our rabbits, and our chickens as well. So we hope you choose to join the channel. Let's get into today's project. I have the recipe and would like to remind you what we started with yesterday. 4 cups of zucchini, 2 cups of onion, a bell pepper, and a jalapeno. We then topped it all with a teaspoon and a half of salt. I have a double recipe of each. This was the chopped version, and if you can see, there's a massive amount of liquid that has come out of the zucchini, the onions, the different things. The first thing the recipe wanted us to do was chop all of this, salt all of it, and then rest it in the refrigerator overnight. And now what it wants us to do is strain it, rinse it, strain it again. So we're gonna do that now. While this first one you just saw me strain or rinse is straining out into the same bowl, this was our frozen zucchini that took super long. It was a terrible idea to freeze 8 cups together, and I have a whole nother bag like that I have to deal with. To that, I just threw in the food processor some peppers and onions and all of the same things, looking for a much smaller consistency. And the main thing that we're trying to figure out is if we like the recipe is number 1, and number 2, which consistency do we like? So I'm gonna strain, drain, rinse all of the things this one, and then we'll make them in 2 separate batches. So this time I read all the way through the recipe again. What we're gonna do is combine the following ingredients, which is the mixture, that has rested in the fridge overnight. So let's get that in there. If you hear a truck, my poor son had truck issues this weekend. Okay, to this mixture, we want 1.5 cups of sugar. I doubled it. We're gonna try and do our math right on this video. 1.5 times 2 is 3 cups of sugar. 1, 2, 3. Set that aside. We'll need the exact ingredients for the next one. And apple cider vinegar. I get my apple cider vinegar in this 5-gallon jug from Azure. It is a raw, organic with the mother. It's absolutely fantastic. And I also buy white wine vinegar in giant jugs like this as well, because when it's canning season, we're actually gonna go through most of it. So I need 3 cups of this as well. Don't drop your bottle. So 1.5 cups per batch. Good enough. Woo. 3. Set that aside. To this, ground turmeric. So 1.5 teaspoons per batch. We do like turmeric in our house. So 1, 2, 3. I like the smokiness that turmeric has to it naturally. And then 2 teaspoons, so I need 4 of mustard seed. I've chosen the yellow. I have brown mustard seed as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. We're gonna bring this all together. The recipe calls for a pinch of nutmeg. I don't know that my family would enjoy nutmeg in this recipe. Therefore, I'm just going to omit it. When it comes to seasonings and spices, if you can't stand turmeric, why would you make a recipe with it? You could definitely use something else. Now, I've never made this recipe, so I don't have a recommendation, but if you hate a spice, if you don't like cloves, you don't like nutmeg, you don't like something like that, don't use it. Because if you use it and you don't like it, you're not gonna eat it. And our goal isn't to waste all of this amazing garden fresh. So I've stirred this together. We're gonna heat this to a simmer, and once it simmers, we're gonna go 10 minutes. Now that this is starting to simmer, I have hot water, but tap water in the water bath canner. We're gonna start that coming up to temperature because it's gonna take about the 10 minutes that this is. This is now at a simmer. Let me show you. In the meantime, I rinsed a bunch of jars. I wash my jars, of course, after I use them, but I do like to rinse them because they sit on our open pantry shelves, and we have dogs. Not to mention the amount of humans that could contribute. So I'm gonna do 1/2 pints and pints. My thought process on all of that is the pints might be great if you're having a barbecue and you're opening it up for brats and hot dogs and all of that. However, the 1/2 pints I think would be good for when we're doing like a potato salad or something where I don't want a whole giant jar open and in the fridge, but I want to do just a little 1/2 pint. Nose full of vinegar, never fun. I did pull a spoon out, let it cool down a little, and taste tested it because I was a little worried, did I need to add more spices or whatever? My family, I made zucchini relish one other time when we lived in Arizona, when I was learning all these homestead skills or re-honing them basically, and it was awful. My family absolutely hated it. I tasted this, it literally just tastes like relish. It's not mind-blowing, excuse me. It's not mind-blowing, it's simple, and that is perfect. So thank you, May May. Hi, Logan. Hi, Declan. Those are my nephews. So what we're gonna do is jar it while it's hot, so I'm gonna quit talking. I am gonna reach down into the bottom of the pot. I know you can't see that, but I'm gonna look for the liquid with the zucchini. So I don't want to end up getting these full and then having a ton of liquid left in the bottom because that's part of the relish. So we need 1/2 inch headspace. So there we go. We learned, and I've talked about it before, we like to, at Jessica's house, I learned to fill all of them, wipe all of them, seal all of them at the same time, then pop them all in the water bath canner or the pressure canner, at the exact time, and it makes the whole process just a little bit quicker. So, I did read here, I'm gonna scroll back up to the top. It said 3 pints, so for each recipe that should be 6 half pints or 3 pints. So for me, that should be a total of 3 pints and 6 half pints is what we're shooting for here. And we'll see how that ends up. Each one of these might need a little more. Looking for that 1/2 inch headspace, like I said. What we don't want is to also get to the last jars and have just all the liquid. Let's see how close we get it. Okay, so that's our 6 half pints. So I'm not gonna get that full amount. Now I could have just chopped mine's too big or too small or too whatever. That's all right. Top these jars off. I am gonna look for bubbles because I don't want it siphoning. So you would do bubbles before putting lids on. Perfect. That's why we wait to do the lids. I did wash the lids. Rings are a reuse. New lids, used rings. All right, let's get these in the canner. Absolute perfect timing. We're gonna heat this to the boil. We're almost there with the cans. 15 minutes at my elevation. If you're over 6,000 feet, you need to go 20 minutes. Isn't that funny? How many of you would have thought I was over 6,000 feet? In fact, the inlet is right straight there, which means the ocean, which is 0 feet above sea level, is just right over there. So we're only a couple feet above sea level. All right, we're gonna quickly put together the second batch, which means hopefully we will be ready to jar right about the same time that that first one is done. It really isn't too tedious to do it this way. And the reason it's not too tedious is I would be waiting for those to process for 15 minutes anyway. So 3 cups of sugar. Oh. 3 cups of vinegar. 4 mustard seed. I got everything cleaned up, timer's running, whole 9 yards, make myself useful. You are never going to believe what happened this morning. I have a small story time to share with you. We have all of these zucchinis. My friend Sarah, never met her, but she has followed the channel since the very, very beginning, and she comments on every one of them, and she watches all my videos, and she kept saying to me that it's like this faux pineapple, whatever you want to call that. So basically, it's zucchini that's supposed to taste like pineapple. And so I thought this morning Wyatt was gonna go get a part for his truck from Napa, and I said, hey, take my truck and my card, go by the grocery store and grab for me the lemon juice and the pineapple juice off of this, what I need to try and make this recipe. Okay. So I snapshotted it, circled what I needed him to get, and apparently my circle was just a little too large because the kid brought me a bag of zucchini. I am afraid to go pick any more zucchinis because we have so many of them in the garden at this point. I have this bowl here. And then I thought, you know what? You asked for help. He helped you. I haven't even told him. I have not even told him, hey, buddy, that I didn't want zucchinis. I wanted lemon juice and pineapple juice, and that was it. That was all that I needed. Thank God he did not buy me sugar as well, because I keep those in the 5-gallon buckets in the basement that then goes in the 2-gallon bucket you saw me, and I have some on the... Anywho, at least he didn't buy sugar, but for some reason, he bought me zucchinis, but luckily not 16 cups worth. So the recipe is 16 cups, and what it wants me to do is to peel and dice 16 cups of zucchini. So I'm gonna start on that while we're waiting on everything to finish here. Let's get a peeler, knife, and I still have 11 minutes. Actually, this just started. Okay, that's perfect. 11 minutes on the water bath canner and 10 minutes starting now going on the relish. So let's see how many of these and these. We'll start with mine. We'll measure them out. We'll see how many cups we've got. Very quickly. All right. I'll use this bowl as my compost bowl. Start with my zucchini. Dun, dun, dun. So we want them to be about the size of what a piece of pineapple, like chunky pineapple, would be. I'm actually kind of excited because pineapple is one of my favorite things. And obviously we don't grow pineapple in Alaska. Although it uses a store-bought ingredient of pineapple juice, I still think it's kind of exciting to try it. We'll see if we can trick my family. I'll let you know. So if they're real seedy, any of them, I don't think they will be, we would go ahead and pull those. Let's see. I think maybe that looks like a piece of pineapple. Okay, they're calling it mock pineapple. Literally while I was doing this, I got another message on YouTube saying, make mock pineapple. How did you know? This is what I was doing at that exact moment. 16 cups of zucchini. I didn't have a single spare left in the house, so that is at least relieving until I go out into the garden today and guarantee I'll find more zucchini. So 16 cups. To this, not much in the way of sugar. So we need 1.5 cups of sugar. Whoops. A little light. There we go. 1.5 cups of sugar. To that, 1.5 cups of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Let's see if I can catch those couple of seeds. Gotcha. Gotcha. See if there's any more. Yep, right there at the bottom. Okay. 1.5 cups lemon juice. And then this 46-ounce can of pineapple juice. Now this one we're gonna stir together and bring to the simmer for 20 minutes. So I did shut off the canner. This also is gonna get water bath canned. Fingers crossed. Let's get heating that. I'm done with all of the relish. I already swept and mopped today. So as soon as I'm done with this recipe, I'm actually gonna be done with the video. So that's pretty exciting. And then I'm gonna go work in the yard with my grandma. She's out there pulling weeds. She's the cutest thing ever. All right, it's been about 20 minutes. I cleaned out the fridge and some other things. I'm really curious because it does smell a little bit like pineapple zucchini. Zucchini. It does have a little zucchini flavor, scent to it. So I decided, because it says 8, plus we want juice, we are going to fill the jars. And after filling the jars, I'm gonna add the juice in between them. Good. But it does smell like pineapple. So we'll find out here shortly if this was the right move or not. I'll pull one out and taste test it. Alright, now that we have them even, we are going to top them with the juice, leaving at least 1 inch of headspace. The 1 inch mark is right there at the bottom. I'll show you. Right where the jar, the lid band screws onto, that's about 1 inch. So, right in there. New lid, ring. These ones at the boil are gonna go for 15 minutes at our elevation. If you have a higher elevation, it's gonna be for 20 minutes. I did try that, and maybe it's in my head, but it really does taste like pineapple. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it was a fantastic use of the zucchinis, and I'm trying to think, like, I could totally use that in like certain Christmas dishes, I think, that call for pineapple. Anywho, yeah, thank you guys for the recommendations. If you have any other recommendations for me, that things you'd like to see me can, process, preserve, freeze dry, whatever the case is, leave that in the comment section. I'm happy to take a look and see if it's something that I can manage to muster up in the kitchen. With that, I'm a little exhausted. It's been a fantastic day of canning, preserving. I cleaned out the fridge. I've swept and mopped my floors today, and I'm just a little bit done. So I thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen, and I hope to see you in the next episode. With that, if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. You'll ring the bell, then you get notifications. You don't miss anything. I do hope that you are blessed. I hope that you take some time to find something to be grateful for today, and I hope that you come back to see us. I'll see you. Nothing to see here except for what on earth are you doing? Peach! Get out of there! How did you even get in that high? What is wrong with you? Girl.